What's going on, guys? Andrew here from Looking for Fish. Thought I'd post a little video tonight. It's late night. My girls finally got down to sleep. And I was going to show you my top however many fall time baits, okay? So here, this is just a regular cross-eyes chatterbait. Um, Finally going to cut it off. And you'll see what I replace that option with. Not exactly on this, but this is one of the first baits I'd have tied on. So this actually, the reason I'm tied on now, because it came out in mystery tackle box this month. This is the Excite Baits Heckler, and it's just their big topwater bait. It's just a walking bait, and so I think it's a great option to just be able to target those bass that are kind of pushing shad up shallow into some shallow flats, feeding up in some shallow water. And so this is a great option to do that with. And so definitely excited that one of these came in my mystery tackle box. So just to kind of get us started, again, this is a video designed for you to just see what we have kind of fall transition baits wise or whatever. So one of the first baits that I'd have tied on is just a walking style bait, just something to be able to run some shallow water. Maybe not a frog, maybe it's probably past that, but these walking shad style baits, you could, well, I'll get to another option for you, but first one that we'll look at is just this walking style bait. Again, this is the Excite Baits Heckler, and it's a new bait out this year. It just got released this past summer. So I'm excited to kind of get a couple of these tied on. I have one that's in bone, and then I think I have a black and white, a black one. And so this is a new color, got some chartreuse on top, but translucent on the bottom. Really great option. Okay, so that's one of the first fall baits that I'd have tied on. The next fall bait that I would have tied on, again, we're in the bass or chasing shad, chasing bait fish, is a spinnerbait. Okay, and I know some of y'all would be all about having a spinnerbait tied on all year. I love it. Great idea. It works. Target casting, bomb casting, dragging on the bottom. So many options. I'm not as big of a spinnerbait guy, but right now in the fall, I love being able to throw this. You can tell I got my chartreuse one tied on right now because I've been creek fishing. For those that are subscribers, and you get that little extra content on our page, you saw me talking about the spinnerbait in the creek the other day. So this is the KVD one. I got this off of Carl's Bait and Tackle. They carry the KVD line of his spinnerbaits. Love those. So spinnerbait, walking bait, kind of that bait fish look. Now, retrieval wise for this spinnerbait, I will take a second. Retrieval wise, you have a couple options for this. Now you can, throw it on the outside of a school of shad. You can drag these on the bottom if, whatever. But you can also, one of my favorite ones, just below the surface, if I'm going to do top water, I could do that Heckler, walking bait, stick bait, something like that. But you can run a spinnerbait, and that's really close to the top of the water column where those blades just kind of barely poke out of the water surface of the water. And that's a great option for this as well, to come, grab some of those top water-ish fish, those top water bites that maybe not, maybe that's not exactly top water. Okay, so that's two, the walking bait, the spinnerbait. You can't go wrong with a good old jig. Now, I'm not sure what jig this is. I think this is a Cumberland Pro Lures. It's just one of their flipping jigs. But I'm trying this new color thing where I do like a green and then a black, or a black jig with green trailer. I don't know. I don't. If you've done that and had success, or if you've done that and you haven't had any success and you've noticed a definite difference, drop a comment. Let me know. But right now I'm trying it. This is that 13 Fishing Destroyer, I think. And so just a nice little flipping-ish arky style jig. This is again from Cumberland Pro Lures. I'm throwing this on a Tatula bass rod. That's what I've got 3 of them now. This is that Tatula bass rod from Daiwa, and this is the Zillion TW um, SVTW, the Zillion SVTW. It's my newest reel out. I love it. Smooth, holy moly, love it. But I didn't know if you want to take a look at the setup that I'm throwing it on as well. And this is a 7-1 extra fast rod, and I got 15-pound fluorocarbon on that. So that's my jig setup. Next, this is one of my target casting baits. I throw an underspin. Now, this one's got a 4-inch Biospawn Exo Swim on it. And this is on a Lazy Man Hooks underspin. I use the Colorado blade sometimes. They have willow leaf blades. I use that a ton as well. But I wanted an option that wasn't as shaddy, be it with the walking bait and with the spinner bait. So I put the green pumpkin Biospawn up there just to give me a bluegill option. But I do a lot of target casting with this. I'll swim it really slow. I'll change my retrieve up. One thing that I've noticed that gives me a good bit of success with the underspin and also the spinner bait. Whenever I make target casts and land it in the water really loud by accident or so, I'll pop it and twitch it a ton at the very beginning, and then I'll slow reel it. And what it looks like to me, it looks like a fish that's struggling, a bait fish that's struggling and making a lot of commotion, and then kind of figuring it out. And I've had a lot of success with that concept where I make it look like the bait fish is in distress, and then it kind of works itself out and kind of slow retrieve. I think it kind of tricks the bass into thinking that's an easy meal. You can see that I have this on braid, but you can also maybe tell that this is a leader as well. So this is 40-pound flipping braid from K9, and I got a 15-pound fluorocarbon leader, maybe 12-pound. It feels like 15 probably. So that's another one of my fall baits. And then the last one that I carry around with me pretty regularly is my shaky head. Okay, this is that Z-Man SMH jig head right there. I don't know if you can get a close up of that. But that's that jig head from Z-Man, and then the SMH worm to go with it. Now I'll throw a Senko or a Excite baits, not Maximus, but their Slim Jim, and that's a great shaky head option. But I've really been digging this this SMH with the Elastec and all. Crazy durable. So it's a great option. This is the only spinner reel that I carry around with me. Well, I got one more, but this was the only one that's kind of been my fall setup. Obviously, I have like a wacky rig, but I don't throw it as much. But these were my, let's see, how many did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are my 5 fall baits. Again, I'll go through them. It was the Heckler, which is just a walking bait. Okay. Put them down over here so I can tell which ones I've been through. The spinner bait. Okay, we're mimicking shad. We're mimicking the bait fish idea. In that same line, a bluegill underspin. This is from Lazy Man Hooks and a Biospawn. So that's another bait fish imitator. And then something slower. Maybe I'm fishing in an area that's got a ton of bait fish, and I want to stand out and be a touch different than, if I'm fishing in an area, and I learned this from maybe Johnny over at Fish the Moment or whatever. He made a good comment in one of his latest podcasts where when you're competing against a large number of bait fish, I throw a spinner bait or an underspin or even a walking bait. It might get lost in the crowd, and the chances of the bass targeting my bait versus the real thing, the numbers aren't there. And so whenever you're in an area with a ton of bait fish, it's a good idea to throw things that don't as well imitate those bait fish and kind of stand out. And so I go with my 2 options, the jig and the shaky head. And so if you're trying to stand out a little bit, if you're in a high, if you're in a place with a ton of bait fish, try something that doesn't necessarily imitate that bait fish, be it a worm or a jig, and you can slow it down and work it a little bit, and maybe you can get the bass to see those as easier meals. And I don't know, it's just something you got to try. When there's competition like that, you got to stand out, right? Well, you might not stand out with a spinner bait because there's already a ton of bait fish. You might not stand out with a walking bait because there's already a ton of action on the top. You might not stand out with a underspin. So try something different, and maybe you'll be a little bit more successful. So that's my fall setup right now. As I find things that I gain confidence in and become successful with those things, I'll definitely pop back up here, make a video, and show you. But for now, that's kind of sort of how I'm going to attack any type of body of water that I go. You know, I can do whatever I want to with that group of setups and presentations. So hopefully you learned something. Drop a comment. Let me know what I should change, what I should add, what I'm wasting my time with. We always love to hear from y'all. We can't replace, our experience with the amount of people that hopefully will comment and help us, just learn as we go as well. So I appreciate you. Y'all have a good night, good day. Whenever you're watching this video, hit us with a like, thumbs up, something, a comment, just saying what's up, and I appreciate it. All right, y'all take it easy.